What's up, guys? That really gross guy here. We're back, and it's been a little while since I've done a speculation-based video, so I think we're going to do a little bit of speculation here today and talk about some of the updates we know that are coming very soon. These are going to be, some fairly simple, basic updates, quality of life type stuff, and we're gonna speculate on the future content that's coming out here soon, including the Flydolon. And we won't really get into the new war, because that's who knows what the new war is going to bring our way. But also Venus, and maybe the next open world, which I've just throwing that out there. Anyways, so first of all, I do want to throw out there that Pablo, DE Pablo, did throw out a tweet that had something to do with the new UI themes. So you guys know that the UI has changed a little bit in terms of their themes and whatnot. So I guess there are going to be new themes coming our way, which is nice. I already kind of like one of the ones that came out. I felt like it was already pretty nice. But, there may be ones that come out in the near future that kind of change my mind on the one that I'm currently using. But right now I'm actually kind of satisfied, so that doesn't really pique my interest all that much. But one thing that does pique my interest was a tweet that was sent out by Steve, and that has to do with the gear wheel. So you guys know the gear wheel where you drop all of your, pizzas, your, energy, ammo, shield, and health pizzas. There's that. There's also where you have to put your dragon keys when you want to do vaults. There's the Pokeballs for all your shield ospreys and stuff like that. Also, it's where you would put, say, your Valentine's Day, arrows, your cosmetic stuff. A lot of that stuff ends up not being on your gear wheel because you do not have room. But there's going to be some changes to that, which is pretty exciting because personally, I like as many options as I can with the gear wheel, and when I am forced to drop stuff off my gear wheel, it kind of stinks because number one, I forget to change it back. I'll put on like a dragon key or something like that, and I will forget to change it back. Or I'll take off some of my pizzas, and I'll switch to a frame that kind of requires me to have, say, ammo pizzas, because I'm using a very ammo heavy weapon, and then next thing you know, I don't have it on there. Or I'll run a mission such as the infested boil that was on the plains, where you had those consumable items in order to make the hematite or whatever a lot more difficult, and I'll forget to put those on or something like that. So we're gonna have a gear wheel that, I don't want to say it's endless, but I want to say that it has at least 20 slots, it looks like, on there, and I'm excited about that. I think we're still going to be able to hotkey them, which is great because I hotkey all of my pizzas. For instance, if you want a good example of a great way to hotkey your pizzas, is if you're going to use all four, you can put them on your arrow keys. So your arrow keys up, down, left, and right can be for specific pizzas. Because I have kind of a peripheral called a Razor Tartarus. It's like a left-handed mouse is the best way I can describe it, just without getting into too much detail. But I have arrow keys over there, and I can just simply, use my thumb and just hit an arrow really, really easily on that bad boy. But you could obviously map it to, whatever key you deem necessary, especially if you have a mouse that has buttons on the side. You could do that for your powers, you could do that for your pizzas, whatever. Anyways, I'm just grateful because, like I said, I will forget, to change my stuff back. Like I said, I'll use a weapon that runs out of ammo quick, and I'll want those ammo pizzas. I'll be using a frame like Ash, who's meant to be, I keep his health low because I keep him invisible pretty much the entire game. But say I accidentally bump into a Nully, or say a parasitic Eximus or something is nearby and I get my energy drained, and next thing you know I can't go invisible or whatever, and I take some damage. I want to have all the pizzas on my gear wheel at all times, and this is a great way to allow that to be possible. So that's a great thing that I've been waiting for a long time, and I'm so grateful they are changing the gear wheel for sure. But yeah, in terms of updates, there's also consoles are going to be updating here soon. I believe the next update will be for the deluxe Vauban skin. I could be wrong. You guys can let me know in the comments if you're console players. Are you waiting on the Vauban skin? Or do you already have that? I'm pretty sure you don't yet. Because I want to say, Revenant just came out on PC, so I'm pretty sure you guys have to wait a little bit longer. But they have been getting closer to releasing PC and consoles at similar times, so that's nice. So Revenant's probably not too far off for you guys. But in terms of updates, speaking of Revenant, we'll just say, speaking of Revenant, being Eidolon frame, sentient frame, based frame, whatever you want to call it. I'm curious as what's going on with that. Number one, I'm hoping we don't see nerfs because his 4 is pretty good. His other powers, I'm not all that crazy about. I like the synergy that's between them, being able to I forgot the Enthrall the name, or yeah, Enthrall is the name to pacify like the enemies, turn them against the enemies. So there's that synergy between that and the other ability, which I think is pretty nice. The thing is the 4 is pretty strong right now, and I hate to see it get nerfed because I would love to see these strong abilities, this really cool builds that the players come up with, actually push endgame, a little bit further so that we get some endgame coming out. But I wouldn't be surprised if we see a damage nerf, which would suck. I'd rather see like an efficiency nerf. I'd rather see no nerfs. No nerfs whatsoever. I'm just going to be honest. But if we had to see one, I could see maybe it being a little bit more efficiency intensive, or maybe its initial cast is like more energy and then the rest stays the same. I'm not sure. If they make it duration based, then I'd say it would suck, to be honest. But if it was duration based, he'd have to at least go around 2 times. Actually, I'd say like 4 times, because you could see that his laser beams like aim down and up like as he spins. So anyways, I don't know how I feel about that. Like I said, I would love to see the end game pushed for some of these frames. I know we've seen some nerfs in terms of certain frames. But I would love to one day see the end game gets to the point where we really require some insane damage output by our frames, almost like a Super Saiyan kind of deal, or I don't know. I'm trying to think of another term. I'm on a little bit of a weed, but anyways, I'm trying to go like to the next level, to where like when Ember got her nerf and maybe Mesa got her nerf, and if Revenant ends up getting a nerf, I'd love to almost see the power that was there before kind of come back. Or maybe you could, after you've, leveled your frame all the way up and you potatoed it and put some formas in it or something, you could almost enhance your frame to like an end game level of some way, shape, or form. Maybe like what do they call it in Black Desert Online when you like, I don't know, we'll just say Super Saiyan. Anyways, if you could turn your frames into something that's absolutely devastating, but that would also pave the way for some serious endgame kind of content. I just really would like to see some of this stuff not get nerfed, but rather implement more of a reason to create some awesome endgame content. So I don't know. I know things have to be balanced, so that makes sense, but I'm just throwing that out there. Next up, we talked about Revenant. Speaking of sentient Revenant deals, what about the Flydolon? When it comes to the Flydolon, we're just going to call it the Flydolon, because who knows what it's called. But anyways, This thing is, as far as we know, everything is pointing to the idea that this will be released on the plains, which makes sense. It is the plains of Eidolon after all. That makes me wonder if we will ever see Eidolons on other planets. I think it's possible that we could see Eidolons on other planets, because we know there have been traces of like sentient, stuff on other planets. But the plains of Eidolon is probably going to be the home of like the majority of Eidolons in general. But with that said, the plains already I feel like is going to get a little bit cramped if we have the Terrorist doing its thing, and the possibility of having the Flydolon out at the same time. We don't know how that works yet, but if the Terrorist is out and we get the Flydolon out at the same time at night, then things might get a little bit chaotic. I know that the world space is probably strong enough or large enough that we could fight these Eidolons on two opposite sides of the map. However, because there is like the teleporting and moving of the Eidolons during the battle, it's very possible that you could end up in a lot of trouble because of the random, teleportations of these Eidolons. So that could be a problem. I would like to see, and I've alluded to this in the past because I've looked at the world border of the Plains of Eidolon, I would love to see the Plains of Eidolon get expanded on. And I think it's totally possible because they were talking about how Venus is 4 times the size. I heard someone say 4 times the size, but I also heard 7 times the size of the Plains of Eidolon. And if we could implement that, whatever they've learned since then to make the Plains of Eidolon larger, that would be pretty awesome. That would allow us to, like I said, fight maybe the Eidolons, a little bit more, with more space, let's just say. And that would be pretty cool. Maybe fight more than one Eidolon at once? I don't know. That would be pretty crazy. But that's just an idea, which is really exciting. But with that said, Eidolons, Plains of Eidolon, would love to see it get bigger. I'm expecting Flydolon to be on the Plains of Eidolon. And Venus is probably a little ways off. I'm really curious as to what's going on with that. I'm also curious that when they were talking about, when they were ready to reveal or release Plains of Eidolon, they already started working on Venus. When the Plains of Eidolon was in its final stages, they already showed the terrain being built on Venus, which was really, really interesting. But that also makes me question, I mean, Venus might still be a little ways out, but they want it out before the end of the year. Is it possible that they are already working on the 3rd planet, the 3rd open world planet? I do know that the War Within, or not the War Within, the new war is, coming out, and it's probably got their focus. That's probably where a majority of the team is working on right now. Well, probably Venus is taking up, the final stages of Venus will be the majority of the team, but then after that, I'm pretty sure the new war will be the consumer of all their time. But I'm curious, is obviously if the Plains of Eidolon gets bigger, which is 100% speculation, I have nothing whatsoever to back that up as a possibility. But if that gets bigger, then that would allow the team to work on an open world, but not be the next one. It would just be, kind of expanding on one we currently have. So I'm curious, because, there's different departments in DE, and I would not be surprised if, while the story is being written or whatever for the war or the new war, we could see maybe the start of a new open world or the expansion of the first open world we had. I don't know. I'm curious. What do you guys think about those possibilities? What do you think about, the Plains of Eidolon being expanded? Would you like to see that? Because there is half of the map is like landlocked, so it's very possible we could expand. Maybe just for whatever reason the program or whatever they did to make the Plains of Eidolon doesn't allow for that. I'm not sure, but if that doesn't happen, I also am very curious as what you would like to see as the next open world area. Personally, I would love to see Eris, because I believe Eris is the home of the infested, or at least I know that it's the mostly consumed planet by the infested, which would be an insanely cool open world section of the game. I don't know. I don't know, but there's also going to be the railjack system, all that solar rail stuff. I'm still curious as to how that's going to work. It's probably going to play very heavily into the new sentient stuff, and we've heard about sentient tile sets from TennoCon 2017. So there's a good chance we won't see an open world, but we will see new tile sets based on the sentience in the future. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, I don't know. I'm eager to see what you guys think. What do you want to see in terms of a new open world? What are you excited about in Warframe? And yeah, I think I'm going to leave it there. I don't think there's any real other news to talk about at the moment. So I'll see you guys with another speculation video. I'll try to do these more often. So thank you guys, and I'll see you next time. Blah.